Hey guys, welcome back to the blues lesson video series. In this video we're going to be discussing the 12-bar blues form. So in the last video we talked about the quality of chords that could be used through the 12-bar blues. Now we're actually going to play those through the 12-bar blues form. So a little bit of review from the previous videos. We're going to do this in blues in A. So A is going to be our 1 chord, or A7 or A minor. And then D is going to be our 4 chord, or D7 or D minor. And E is going to be our 5 chord, or E7 or E minor. One thing that I do recommend doing is getting comfortable with the Roman numeral analysis of this, so you can apply it in different keys. So just to go through the most basic form of the 12-bar blues, we want to think about it in 3 rows of 4, or 3 rows of 4 bars. And that's just how the phrasing works out in blues. So in the first 4 bars, every single measure is going to be A. And then in the next group of 4, it's going to be D for 2 bars, and then A for 2 bars. And then the last group of 4 is going to be E, D, A, E. So A, D, D, A, E, D, A, E. Now the Roman numeral analysis of that would be 1, 1, 1, 1, 4, 4, 1, 1, 5, 4, 1, 5. And that last 5 chord is the turnaround to get you back to the beginning of the form. Otherwise, if you're going to end it, you can always just end on the 1 chord. So we're going to play through that particular form with the major, minor, and dominant 7 chords, and then we'll make a couple manipulations to it, and we'll hang on to the dominant 7 chords with when we make those changes to the form. So let's just start out with our basic major chords: A major, D major, and E major. And I'm just going to count us in, and I'll just play whole notes to start out, and then we'll move it to quarter notes, just so we're counting and keeping track of where we are at. So we'll do it nice and slow the first time around. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and A for the first bar. A, 2, 3, 4. This is bar 3 and 4, and then we're going to go to bar 5, which is D. 2, 3, 4, and one more measure of D, and another measure of A, and A. And then this is the last group, going to be E major, our 5 chord, then D major, 4 chord, and A major, 1 chord, and E major for the turnaround. Now let's do that again with the dominant 7 chords. I'm just going to go ahead and strum quarter notes so it's easier to keep track of where we're at. But you definitely want to be doing this, either out loud or with a metronome or mentally. You gotta count no matter what. So we're going to use all dominant 7 chords now. So here we go. A7, 1, 2, strumming quarter notes. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2. Going to a D7. Second bar of D7 and A7. So an E7 and then a D7. And E7. Now we're going to do that with the minor chords, and I'm going to call it out with the Roman numeral instead of the chord name, so we can just kind of start making use of that and thinking about it in that manner. All right, all minor chords now, same song form. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and 1 chord. Second measure. Third measure, 4th measure, and 4 chord, that you're getting comfortable with that, feel free to repeat that as many times as necessary. You know, that is definitely going to be representative of a lot of blues tunes. You know, if you're learning songs or covering songs, that's very commonly used form. Now, one thing that probably happens more often than not is what they call the quick change. So this is the first manipulation that we're going to make to the 12-bar blues form. The quick change is just the way that this one chord change is referred to, where we go to the 4 chord in bar number 2. So instead of the first line being 4 measures of A, A7, or A minor, or whatever quality of chord we're using, it goes A for the first measure, D for the second measure, and then back to A for the third and the fourth. So just one chord change, quick change to the D chord, right? So let's just use all dominant 7s from here on out, and then you can always apply the other quality of chords through this. Here we go. All dominant 7s, adding the quick change, the 4 chord in the second bar. 1, 2, ready, and 1 chord, and 4 chord, and back to the 1. This is bar 3, and bar 4. 4 chord, next group, and back to your 1 chord, and to your 5 chord, little change we're going to make, which that one that we just played is probably the most commonly used form, but this happens in some tunes as well, and definitely good to train your ear to be able to pick this stuff up so you can, you know, listen to the harmonies or the bass notes, or even, you know, the melody, the lyrics, to listen to where that voice is going. But we're going to eliminate in bar number 10, we're going to eliminate the 4 chord, and we're going to call it the long 5. So we have 1, 4, 1, 1, or A, D, A, A, and then the second group of 4 is going to be D, D, A, A, and then the last group of 4 is what we're changing. It's going to be E, E, A, E, instead of E, D, A, E, or 5, 5, 1, 5. That's it. So we've got the quick change in bar 2. It goes to the 4 chord, and then we're taking the D7 or the 4 chord out of bar 10 and just leaving the E7 there. So it's going to go for 2 bars instead. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and A, 1 chord to the quick change, D7. Second group here on the D7, 4 chord, and back to the 1 chord. Now the long 5, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and to the 1 chord, and back to the 5. Play through that a bunch of times, guys. You know, like I said, that middle one that we did with the quick change and maintaining the 5, 4, 1, 5 in the last group is probably the most common, but there's tons of variations on the 12-bar blues, and then there's even, you know, different lengths, 8-bar blues, 16-bar blues, stuff like that. But get familiar with that song form, because the better you can hear that, the better you're going to be able to either comp for somebody else who's soloing or solo over, because it's definitely important to be in tune with what harmonies are playing. That's certainly going to affect your note choice and how things are blending together. So in the next video, we'll be talking about applying some rhythm to that, because obviously just strumming whole notes or quarter notes is not going to be the most exciting thing. We'll create a little bit of a groove with it and go through a couple of those forms. See you in the next video. Thanks a lot.